This game changes things. Okay, so let me explain. I wanted to test my game, and my wife wanted a Norse story to work from. And so I started discovering all the Norse mythology, and actually my family history connected with it. It changed my life. Almost no one would believe me about where it is and where it leads to. But I haven't found anything to disprove it. And I'm wondering if you have anything or any more information, whatever you might have. Let's talk. This will be a series I'm trying to make for my niece and just other family to look at and see where we come from, and possibly if they have anything, something like that. The first name that pops up is McDougal, and we come from the line McDougal, is what I was told, and something about Benjamin, and this information came from my grandmother. My great-grandmother, I'll show here in a second. So, we got me, my mom, my grandma, my great-grandma. She was a Benjamin and married into a Holman. Okay, and you go down, and Benjamin to Vertive Wilson, Grover Russell Benjamin, to Ida Louise McDougal. Okay, so we go from that McDougal to Nathan McDougal and Cassie Shin, Hugh McDougal, John McDougal. And that was the last John McDougal that we had, but we had a bunch. And as you see, from John, and the Kennedys were another clan. John McDougal, John Ian Kier McDougal. Okay, John, to Alan, to Alexander. From Alexander to another John, to Duncan. Duncan to John. John, Alexander. You can see the other clans stuffed up in here. Alexander McDougal, Ian McDougal, Alan McDougal. So when it said 11th a while ago, I started to dig in a little bit to that, and they have titles like 11th of Dunley and Lorne, and that was our little clan title or whatever for our kingship, chieftain, something. They were looked at as the same thing. I've done the math, and it's either 32nd or 33rd of Dunley and Lorne that I would be. Alan McDougal, Ian McDougal, Alan, and we are getting into 1300s. Alan, Duncan, Ewan, Duncan, Dougal McSummerled. That's the very first McDougal. Let's find out about him. McDougal's Varga are the senior lineal descendants of Somerled, 1164. So this is before medieval times, or around it, depending on how you think. His Norse name means summer traveler, by word for a Viking, in the sense of sea raider. The Gaels called him Summerlyle More MacGillibride. I don't know if I marked that word or not, but Somerled the Mighty, son of Gillibride. Name reveals his mixed Norse Gael ancestry, in which means that his family were Gael, foreign Gaels. Okay. So, when Somerled felt threatened in 1164, he invaded Scotland and died in a battle against Walter Allen, Norman king, pointed high steward. The Annals, Chronicles, the saga sources written in Gaelic or Latin Norse, respectively named Somerled's surviving sons as Dougal, Ranald, and Angus. From what I found out, the three sons spawned off all the clans of Scotland. And so basically, he's somewhat the founder of Scotland, maybe? But here's where it gets weird. Because she asked me to do Norse game, I needed to know Norse history. And so that's where it ties in. He was originally a Sea Raider, Viking, Scandinavian, whatever you want to call him. But he was a lot of things. And that's where the history leads. And so I was getting a 2-for-1 shot here. I was finishing my game and testing it, and I got to find out my history. So he was a Viking, and so let's see where the rest of the history leads. Okay, and Gillibride, I saw that a while ago. Okay, that history is correct. And something named Ragnhildur, Olaf's daughter. And from what I found out, that has a relation to the name Ragnhild, somewhat of a Valkyrie type person, maybe. And then Olaf, Ingeborg, and you can start to see Scandinavian Viking type names right here. Going up from Olaf, Ragnhild, Harold Sigurdsson, Halfdan Sigurdsson, Sigurdseer Halfdanson. I'm just gonna let you look at it for a few seconds and then go on. King Harold, I looked up him, and King Harold Fairhair, first king of all Norway. And if you see it right there, 850 to 933. Okay, so Halfdan Sigurdsson. And King Harold, King Halfdan, Queen Ragnhild, Queen Ingeborg, King Sigurd. That one is a very interesting one. King Gudrid, Queen Asa. Yes, like the Asas and the myths. I know. Oh yeah, I went down a deep rabbit hole. Saga of the Volsungs. Okay, so he has a family tree in here. You look at this family tree. Okay, Brynhild, Sigurd, Gudrun. Okay, Aslog, Ragnar, Thora, Ragnhild, Fairhair. Okay, and my history actually says Harold, Ragnhild, and going up to Sigurd, and what the heck? That got me to thinking, if my family history is real, and I can't disprove it, that means all of this stuff that they say, the myths, Eddas, and everything else is real. I had to disprove it, and I can't. Einstein, Halfdanson, King Halfdan, Gudrun. Okay, going off to Halfdan, Asa Einstein, Olaf Ingeborg. And these little marks are just for like from and to kind of thing. Frodo, Halfdan Haraldson. Okay. Halfdan Frodi. Friedolf. Dan the Proud. Ingeborg. Friedolf Frodison. Okay, and now we're getting into 367. Yngvi, Dan the Proud, Sven, Vermund. Okay, it's getting a little. Friedolf's daughter, Habor, however you say that, but Friedolf Frodison, Denmark, and Friedolf Skjoldsen, Signy, Frody, Fritos, Goldman, Woden.